today's video I'm gonna be reviewing whiskey from EDRADOUR distillery from Pitlochry, from Scotland, Scottish Highland. And this particular bottle is a Signatory Vintage Unfiltered Collection, 10 years old whiskey from EDRADOUR distillery, bottled at 46% of ABV. Hello and welcome back. My name is Vlad, and in today's video we're gonna have a look at EDRADOUR distillery, and of course we're gonna be reviewing whiskey from Signatory Vintage, independent bottler who owns actually the EDRADOUR distillery. And in this case we have a whiskey distilled at the 2nd November 2004 and bottled on 26th of March 2015, cask number 406, cask 406. For all of you whiskey geeks who would like to find this cask, maybe 46% of ABV, unchill filtrate, no color added. As you see, beautiful dark color. Of course, ex-sherry casks, ex-sherry cask, ex-Oloroso casks in this case. So EDRADOUR distillery is one of the smallest distillery in Scotland. Actually, until 2013, they was the smallest distillery in Scotland, and they was able to produce about 90,000 liters per year, which is very little if we compare this to the other big giants distillery in Scotland, for example Glenfiddich or Glenlivet. So small distillery which can produce quite incredible spirit, quite incredible new make, and that kind of different type of the new make this whiskey very special. And this new make perfectly fit to the ex-sherry casks mostly. EDRADOUR distillery also produced the heavily peated whiskey, and that brand is called Balehin. So we have a unpeated whiskey EDRADOUR and peated whiskey Balehin. And what you may find interesting about EDRADOUR distillery, it was one of the first, or even the first distillery in Scotland which has been created on the farm. So the few farmers decided to turn the farm to the single malt whiskey distillery, and that was in 1825. And since 2002, EDRADOUR is owned by Signatory Vintage, independent bottler. So the most of releases which we can find on the market, they actually come from the Signatory Vintage. Of course, EDRADOUR brand has a core range where we can find 10 years old whiskey bottled at 40% of ABV. There is also 12 years old whiskey called EDRADOUR Caledonia, and there is a range of the whiskies called straight from the casks. I think they might be a single casks as well. And that range is matured in the multiple different casks, because Signatory Vintage has an access to loads of different casks. So they maturing the whiskey in the casks like ex-Madeira casks, Porto, sherry, loads of different sherry. You can find also whiskey from the Chardonnay casks, from Bordeaux cask or Burgundy casks. So they have access to the multiple different type of ex-wine casks. And EDRADOUR has a quite big range of that kind of whiskies from the different type of casks, which is very nice. So today's whiskey, single cask, ex-sherry cask, ex-Oloroso cask. And straight away you can smell something which you can find quite weird, to be honest, because the nose is quite eggy, sulfury, dirty, earthy, loads of almonds, loads of chocolate, but there is also loads of leather, tobacco, loads of greased notes, that very, very dirty, which reminds me whiskey from Springbank Distillery, in particular the Hazelburn whiskey, which also it's quite dense and quite heavy and dirty. Yeah, and this whiskey on the nose is very, very heavy. It's loads of dark fruits like prunes, raisins, dark chocolate, coffee, cinnamon, cloves. But the main aroma here is that dirtiness, to be honest. Everything is covered by that kind of dusty, greasy garage, wet earth, very dirty spirit, which creates dirty whiskey, of course. Let's go to the palate. This whiskey has been bottled at 46%, but initially this whiskey is quite heavy, dense, oily, with that kind of dark fruits, chocolate, cocoa powder, raisins, prunes, and all that is followed by that dirtiness, that kind of ashiness, that kind of greasy, wet, earthy, that kind of slightly sulfury notes as well, which is quite good, I need to say. If I remember right, this whiskey was very, very sulfury on the beginning. Now, as this whiskey is oxidized quite nice, that sulfuriness, it's like reduced a lot, but still it's very heavy, very dense, and very nice whiskey, to be honest, quite complex as well. When swallowed, this whiskey become more dirty even, more earthy, more dusty, and that sherry note is become little sour. So that kind of winey sourness with touch of the dryness, like a cocoa powder, like a mocha coffee, and all that's going towards that kind of beautiful long finish where we still can enjoy that kind of dried fruits, cocoa powder, earthy, slightly sulfury notes with that dirtiness on the finish. And I need to say this whiskey is quite interesting, quite complex, but that's how the EDRADOUR whiskey is produced. And that's lovely, to be honest, because this is another beautiful example how to make whiskey which is not boring, whiskey which can, you know, pull even the strongest geeks in the whiskey world and give them something interesting to enjoy, to be honest. And yeah, this whiskey is definitely one of those. I do like this whiskey a lot, so if you ever try EDRADOUR whiskey, just leave me comments down below. And thank you very much, guys, for watching this video. Thank you very much for your time, for your support, for your subscriptions, likes and comments. And just one important thing, guys, take care about yourselves, about your families, drink your whiskeys, enjoy your life, and see you soon. Bye.